come under attack for years and years. What I want to know is how would your party restructure the tax system in New Zealand, and what would you aim to achieve with that restructure?
Great question, thanks. Stephanie, number one.
So we would tax wealth fairly. Currently we're pretty good at taxing income. We do not tax wealth, and a lot of wealth is frankly being hoarded and could be put to productive use, ensuring everyone lives a good life. So we would make the tax system fairer by properly taxing wealth, by ensuring it can't be squirreled away into trusts, and we would have tax relief. Hate that term because tax is actually a great thing that all of us should pay to contribute to our society, but we would cut taxes for middle and lower income workers, and we would use that to fund an income guarantee to ensure that everyone, regardless of whether you're in paid work or not, if you're raising children, if you are ill, that you get enough to live on. And we would also be able to fund policies like free dental and climate action with that. It is I swear to you, it is the tiniest little wealth tax, and it would do so much to actually transform both how we think about how we use wealth and capital, but also in what we could provide for everyone in Aotearoa.
Jessica, Chantal.
All right. Did I tell you that I was into boring stuff, or did I not? Because I got super excited when you asked this question about tax, because it means I can use my graph. So this is a graph, which is a little bit out of date, and I'll explain why, that shows how much tax you pay in New Zealand if you make different kinds of investments. And basically all the tall bars are investing in the productive economy, and the short bars are investing in housing. The shortest one is if you invest in owner-occupied housing, and then the slightly taller one is if you invest in rental housing. So if you have money, where should you put it? Housing. Not into the productive economy, housing. Now under Labour, this shorter bar has got really, really tall, so it's like a little bit harder to invest in rentals. National comes in, it'll go back down to where it is. Either way, housing is where you should put your money, not in growing jobs, not in R&D, not in actually investing in our economy or investing in green technologies. You should just invest in housing. So we need to fix this picture. We can do that by raising these ones up or lowering these ones down, or a bit of both. Our policy is to have a small land value tax, which is better than a wealth tax because you can't take the land overseas with you if you don't like the tax rate, and lowering income taxes. So it's a tax switch. You don't have to pay more money, but we rebalance this picture so that it actually makes sense to invest in things that grow our economy and give us a better standard of living.
We only have the 3 tax amendments. One is the first 7,000 to be tax-free. The second one was actually on GST on fruit and vegetables, but far beyond just frozen fruit and vegetables, it was to go to other basics like bread and butter and other things. The third item is that we plan to introduce a sugar tax to reduce the amount of obesity, type 2 diabetes, dental decay, and we've launched a petition. We've got 1,000 signatures so far on change.org, so that's going well. And yeah, the other three areas.
Thank you.
We are concerned that working people are paying too much income tax. That's because inflation means that people have been pushed into higher tax brackets. A minimum wage worker used to pay a tax rate of 17.5% on an extra hour worked. That's now 30%. We want to adjust the tax brackets to allow for some of that inflation that's occurred, as well as increasing the eligibility for independent income earner credits, as well as creating a new childcare rebate for working families with children in childcare. And taken together, our policies would mean a median income worker earning $60,000 a year would be $50 a fortnight better off, an average income household $100 a fortnight better off, and a family with young children up to $250 a fortnight better off. We will fund our policy through a combination of spending reprioritisations, reducing contracting spending, having a climate dividend from the ETS, stopping some labour programs, and through new revenue measures, putting a 15% tax on foreign buyers, taxing online gambling, increasing immigration levies, and stopping commercial property tax breaks. Our tax plan is self-funding. It means that we can get working people some relief. They have been in a cost of living crisis for almost 3 years, and it's time that they paid less tax. We'll also stop petrol tax increases and deal with landlord taxes too. Yes, we can.
Well, we don't have, I don't have to stand here and pull that one apart because we've got some of the best economists in New Zealand pulling your policies apart at the moment, Nicola. One of the scariest things I heard over the weekend was I was talking to a real estate agent and he was literally rubbing his hands with glee saying the investors are back. And goes to your point, Jessica. The investors are back in the market in anticipation of a National Party victory because they know full well that what's going to happen is that the capital gains, the price of houses are going to go through the roof again because don't forget what they're going to do. The question was about what we're doing about tax. What we've tried to do is use or disincentivise. Now, investors are not bad people. They're smart people. They're doing exactly what the system incentivises them to do. And I will not be one of the people who in any way will demonise investors. They're just smart people doing what the system, as Jessica said, incentivises them to do. So by pushing that out, first time we've got first home buyers back in the market. It's been working, that policy. And this is a classic case of nationally going to come in, turn it around, and we're going to be exactly the same place as we were in 2017. You talk about households, Nicola. None of those households are going to own their own home in the future. And that's all of your grandchildren for the very reason that you've talked about, because we're going to end up end up a nation of renters through very, very poor tax policy.
The question was...
I'm sorry. Just look at the read on this as well. To be fair.
So what's your tax policy?
Don't tell me this is all Blue's fault or all Red's fault. It's both of your fault. You've
Well,
both
we've seen
done
our tax policy now.
Right, so we'll move on to the next section at the front. Thank you.